providing education to all is considered as the duty of the government. But the government has recently shifted its importance from the higher education sector to the primary sector and welcomed the private sector to enter into the higher education sector, which is termed as the privatization of higher education. Privatization is a bitter pill, but it's a pill that will cure, said Frederick Schluber. The private sector in India emerged due to the shift in policy, economic compulsion, and increased demand of higher education. The aims of privatization of higher education includes providing high-quality education to even in remote areas, increasing high-quality personnel for development, and also enhancing technological advancement. We can also see that privatization helps in meeting the international demands or international standards of education. Whenever globalization meets with market liberalization, the government have to look for more flexible, effective, and expensive resources. So hence, we can conclude that privatization...
Time up. Against the motion, your time starts now.
I believe that privatization weakens the higher education system, and undoubtedly my first argument to support the statement would be privatization creates social inequality, which leads to a two-tiered system of inequality, and privatization puts profit before quality education, wherein the focus of education shifts from providing the best possible education to maximizing revenue. And thirdly, privatization undermines academic freedom and restricts the access to education. That is, when institutions are centered towards profit making, they're less likely to invest in programs which are beneficial to the society as a whole, which includes scholarship programs, outreach programs, research activities, and people are less likely to know more about the requirements of the students. And an example to support this statement would be Amity University in 2019 was accused of providing subpar education and inflationary number of placements, which clearly depicts the idea that the quality of the education has been compromised.
Time up. Now you have 4 minutes and your time starts now.
A situation has came when the state cannot fulfill the democratic aspirations of the people of increasing or expanding the educational system due to the scarcity or paucity of resources. Here is when the private sector or the privatization was introduced. So when we can see that whenever there is a private-public relationship, the capital expenditure diminishes.
Okay, I totally understand your point, but you have to take into account that around 30 to 20% respectively in the urban and rural areas, the students or the total amount of students from the urban and rural areas are actually not even enrolled to any education system, which clearly depicts the idea that these people cannot necessarily afford the expenses of even public institutions. So how do we expect that they can...
Out to you.
We can see that right to education is a right from the birth. So in private institutions, all the categories of the people are included. Even from the rural areas, urban areas, everywhere, students are getting admissions and seats, and it is clearly visible. Even we, all the people are studying in private institutions. We are standing in such an institution, right?
Out to you, please.
But you need to understand that education is something which is should be imparted with values, and you need to understand that the privatization, when we actually create privatization, when there is privatization, it is likely that as per the words of Anil Sadgopal, we have there's an agenda of demolishing public institutions, and that leads to creation of social inequality, which is actually violation of the constitutional principles.
Connect to the topic, please. Your point should be connected to the topic, yes.
In privatization, are you coming to the point that there are no reservations in private institutions?
No, that is not.
No, this is not a question answer session. Frame us your points, please. Yeah. Come with your next point in that case.
Okay. In private institution, when we look at the Moni versus Karnataka case, we can see that in private institutions, there are also 25% of reservation. So all the students who are in need will get admission into the private institutions at a reasonable rate of...
Clear.
See, I'm actually talking about the quality of the education and not the reservation factor. You need to understand the point that since you pointed out a case, there is this case of Professor Yashpal versus State of Chhattisgarh, Kritika Pandey versus Union of India, in which it was stated that the deemed universities are actually not even necessarily meeting the bare minimum standards. They're actually compromising the educational standards and the requirements of the students.
Please.
Let me take an example of Oxford University or Amrita University. They both are some of the universities which provide high quality education in a world-renowned quality. And also we can see that in the public sector too, there are many colleges when the students are passed out without even knowing which subject they are studying.
So, okay, clear.
So, see, listen, I want you to understand the fact that my entire point revolves around quality. And we have institutions. In the public sector, we have institutions like IITs and IIMs, which actually which are capable of providing the required standard of education.
Please.
We cannot generalize the whole public sector in the names of IITs or IIMs. There are sectors, there are colleges in the sector where they cannot be a quality. There are many small colleges which are in the public sector which does not have any quality and also the required faculties.
That point is clear. You can come with the next point. Yes.
And also we can see that in public institutions there are the procedure of admission is so hard so that only the students which are having that higher rate of marks, they are getting the admission, and the admission procedure is so hard.
Over to you, please.
See, I think the procedure being hard in the private institution is actually a demerit. And the second point is that, see, if there is actually some sort of issues in the educational system, what we need to do in the public sector is that we need to improve by actually enrolling the well-to-do children or the children of well-to-do people in the institutions to improve the quality. Only then the desired target will be achieved.
Out to you.
Actually, we can see that in private institutions, we can see that international.
And your time up. Kindly come forward, both of you. Please come forward and shake your hands. A good and applause for both of them.